Welcome to Intuitive Seek. My name is Mary Treen, and as an intuitive guide, energy healer, and meditation teacher, I aim to bring you a grounded approach to all things energy and intuition. Everything I share is with the hope to help you remember how your unique power of intuition is your own greatest teacher. Hello! Welcome, everyone. Welcome to January 2025. If you're listening on Monday, we're a couple days before. And yes, this episode, we're going to be doing more of an energy impressions on the whole month. And then also a focus on the week as well. So at the beginning of each month, I will be doing an overall energy impressions and then with a focus on the first week. And that feels really good to me. I hope that you had a lovely holiday and I hope you were able to have some time away and that you're excited about the new year. I know it hasn't been the easiest time for many of us, but there's always pockets that are lovely too, right? I hope so. So that was similar for me. Good and challenging. Great and not so great. Inspiring and a bit deflating, which is life. So it feels like this new year, new calendar year, 2025, is going to be quite dynamic. And yes, I will continue with the weekly energy impressions as long as they are helpful. It really does feel like this first month, January, is a bit of a transition month, and I am excited to dive in. So if you have never heard these energy impressions, welcome, and welcome back to everyone that has. In these energy impressions, I go into a nice meditation and use all of my intuitive senses to receive insight, guidance, symbolism, clarity, anything that may help us remember what we need to know. Anything that will help us navigate through the month or week ahead with more clarity, more direction, and more intention. So the purpose of these are for you to listen, connect to what resonates, leave what doesn't, and I hope that what does resonate inspires you to connect to your own intuition. In January and the first week of January does look like a time to kind of double down on that. A time to really intuitively seek. So let's dive in. First, I'm going to share the January 2025 energy impressions that I received and connected to in my meditation. And then we will look at the week ahead. In these impressions, I will share any insight and guidance, as I said, but there will also be an animal to help inspire us with that energy. And then we end the episode with intuitive soul questions. You can use them as a journal prompt. You can use them as a way to answer in a voice note to yourself. And you can use them as a way to just think and ponder and discover what you may already have been thinking about. They are prompts, prompting you to connect deeper to your intuition and your inner knowing. All right. In my meditation for the energy impressions around this month, immediately it was about finding your calm. Find your calm. And not in a way of calm down, but the guidance to pay attention to when you're not feeling calm, to when you're being moved by the changes and rush around you, to make sure that you're utilizing that sense of calm within to share with you what is really serving you and what isn't. And that can be people, places, situations, conversations, in so many different ways. So the overarching theme of the month really felt like paying attention to finding our calm. Where does it lie? And where is it absent? Now, in the meditation, part of finding that calm felt like a guide back to our hearts as well, which was a focus last week. And it makes sense that it's coming again because our hearts need focus. We need to focus on this anchor of love and energy and this power that we have within us that exudes from our heart, but also what we can receive through our heart. So part of finding and remembering our calm this month is also a reminder to pay attention and focus on our hearts. It felt like this month is about big love for ourselves, for others too, but for ourselves. Acceptance of ourselves, how our hearts can help us remember that. But it also pointed to another aspect of this month that I found in the meditation was about endings, closure, closing the door, and that our focus on our hearts, finding our calm, may be practical advice for the changes and endings and doors closing that we may experience this month. And it reminded me that closure is not really found. Most people don't get closure. It's not something that we receive. But closure is more of an action. So maybe this month, pay attention to what door or doors do you need to close? And maybe finding that calm as we release all that we need to. As we close the door, we are releasing everything that may have been preventing us from fully closing those doors. And part of that could be the heart focus, whereby accepting and loving ourselves for who we are now, we can see more clearly about what we need to close, what closure we need to step into, step forward with, act on. And then I felt a lot of water in the meditation, a lot of water flowing, and water flowing from our energy in the form of tears and sweat. And it felt like clearing, releasing, cleaning. And that could be insight and guidance for this month around cleaning and clearing, not only physically, physical body, physical space, but also emotionally and spiritually and mentally. Maybe there are some beliefs that we are still carrying about ourselves, old stories that we're still telling ourselves that need to be closed and released and cleaned out. And if that is you, one may have popped up already. So this is just a reminder that yes, take some time this month to really clear away what is not going to help you this month, but also this year. Are there emotional or spiritual or mental energy, mental thoughts and beliefs, ideas that need to be cleansed and released, that carry weight and matter, that have like a metaphysical density to them, that are taking up way too much space that you need? space that you need to create and be open to everything that is waiting for you in the new year. And especially in this month, just because it's a month where we're focusing more on clearing and cleansing and closing a door, closing many doors, it doesn't mean that we're also not experiencing new things. They can happen at the same time. And one thing that will help you get to that clarity felt like this month, one thing that will help with that is getting back to your center by finding that inner knowing, finding that inner compass. But you'll find it through the calm stillness within. And sometimes, like I said before, you'll find that by not feeling that way. That's how you will find the direction to the calm, by being in the not so calm, the not so still. So really paying attention to how you're feeling in every situation. And another aspect that came into my meditation was a starry night. And meditating, being very still in that calm, but in a meditative state in the starry night. And this felt like a great, helpful change in January. If you are not used to doing any kind of meditation in the evening, this may be the change and kind of shift that you need to gain the insights and clarity and calm and inner knowing that you need not only for this month, but for the year ahead. So have you meditated at night in the way with full intention that you may do in the morning? If that feels like it resonates with you, try it. See what changes. See what shifts. See if you have maybe a new experience with how you meditate. But meditating at night really felt like something that would be very supportive for many of us this month. And it also felt like what energy was coming in about January is that the changes and the transitions and the new, by clearing away the old and releasing, that this is also perhaps a month of initiation. That this month we may be experiencing things that feel like an initiation, that we have gone very far on our path in a way that there is no kind of possibility to really go back to where we came from because it's not there anymore. But we haven't yet reached the new place. So we're kind of making our way on a sort of bridge that has the energy of initiation, that is teaching us many different things. So that also felt like one of the reasons why being and finding that calm within is so key this month and will be so supportive, because a lot of that change will help us move to this future that we are already almost in. So paying attention to the times or experiences or opportunities or invitations that may feel kind of initiatory, and that could be a bit uncomfortable or feel like you're kind of stretching, that may be the right way to go because it is that time. But it also felt like a reminder that if things have been and continue to be for this month kind of tough and challenging, and maybe you're not feeling like you're getting much of a break, shifting your focus to your heart, to your center, and kind of looking at it through a lens of, well, is this part of an initiation? What am I being initiated into? What am I moving towards? It feels like a very magical month in that aspect, but that doesn't mean it's going to be easy or simple. Often the opposite. And then the animal energy from the meditation for the month of January, and it felt like for the week ahead as well, same animal, is the raccoon. Very cute. Very cute. I love a raccoon, but I know some people do not because of city raccoons and garbage and everything. But look up a raccoon. Look up a raccoon with their babies. These are adorable. But let's get to the meaning of them. So with the animals, they are here intuitively to offer inspiration. Their symbolism, the way that they act in the world, they can really inspire what we may need to remember for the month, but also for the week ahead. So raccoons are super intelligent. So right away, remembering our intelligence, not only mental intelligence, but our emotional intelligence as well. Really honoring what you know. And that can be a reminder to connect to and trust your intelligent intuition. The intuitive intelligence. Maybe looking at your intuition that way instead of something outside of you. The intelligence within is not only what you have been taught, but also what you know. And raccoons are also incredibly resourceful. So remembering that part of that intelligence is connecting to your resourcefulness. Remembering how many resources you have at your fingertips. And that reminds me about the raccoons and their little paws, that they have a way of using their paws with water, and it kind of looks like they're cleaning their food. But what they're doing is a technique of dipping what they are hoping to be is food in water, because the water heightens their senses, heightens their sense of touch, stimulates their nerve endings in their little paws so that they know immediately from those senses, utilizing the water to heighten it, they know right away if something is edible or not. So it helps to activate their senses. So the raccoon in January can help us remember and stay open to seeing what helps us activate our senses. It feels like it can inspire us to really pay attention to what inspires not only our intuition, but our creativity. Because the raccoon uses their hands in a creative way that other animals do not. Raccoons are also so family-oriented. Raccoon mothers are known to be some of the best. So connecting to family in January as well. Maybe clearing away old stories about your family, some ancestral connections, releasing what is not yours to carry, maybe some things you've inherited. Maybe you've already done that work, and January is a time to revisit, to make sure that there isn't anything else that needs your attention. And then the big aspect of raccoon that really felt highlighted from my meditation was transformation. Because the raccoon is such a symbol of reaching for opportunity, using their resources in ways to create opportunities for themselves. And because the raccoon is so resourceful and curious and has all of these interesting techniques and abilities and ways of being, they're very courageous. They're great at problem solving, and they know what they're looking for and how to find it in different ways. So the raccoon really represents so much energy, and listening to this, pay attention to what may inspire you for the month. But the raccoon represents the energy of courage, like I said, problem-solving skills, hidden knowledge, sensitivity, intelligence, vulnerability, light and shadow because of their beautiful coloring and that kind of mask-like markings that they have on their face, curiosity, and water, connecting to water. Through their curiosity and their courage and their problem-solving skills and their intelligence and sensitivity, this is big transformation energy. And that also sounds like initiation. So how can the energy of the raccoon inspire you? What can you learn from what you receive from that energy? And if you haven't kind of done that with an animal before, look up a picture and look deeply. And as you're looking at the raccoon, pay attention to what you feel, what you remember, anything that you experience while connecting to the energy of the raccoon picture. You're connecting to the energy of the raccoon. And if that sounds kind of odd, give it a try. Just see what happens, because this is a really wonderful way to develop your intuitive senses and really learn. So part of the raccoon is that kind of marking on their face, that mask, but that mask is actually practical. It is an anti-glare device. So it helps them see deeper into the darkness. And that felt like a reminder to pay attention in January and the first week. So both. Paying attention to when our vision is obstructed. When something is glaring that is not allowing us to see what we see, to stay focused on our vision. And part of that does feel like a reminder, calling back to that heart focus, acceptance, love, accepting ourselves, loving ourselves. If there is some glare around you, if there is maybe a mask that you're wearing that is obstructing your view, or maybe obstructing the way others see you, for them to be able to really see you, that is hiding your true self, how can you allow your true self to be unmasked? Is that the transformation? Is that the initiation that's happening this month? Are you opening up to sharing who you really are? Can you show yourself as one to multiple different people instead of molding yourself into different ways and situations based on who you're with? Can you find your calm and your center by being yourself always and in all ways? What would that even feel like or look like? This is a month to remember that. It really feels like that. And that feels exciting because that is a solid foundation for a year of being able to reach higher and further than you may have before. Because if you are yourself in every situation, your true self, that is a solid, solid, solid foundation, solid ground. If you have to split up your personality and who you are and how you show yourself to others, that creates instability. Imagine all those different parts of your personality having to act at the same time. So yes, the raccoon is really inspiring quite a bit this month. More than I could have imagined when I first experienced the raccoon in my meditation. So I hope that the raccoon, some of the symbolism and energy inspired and reminded what you needed to remember for this month ahead. Okay, and a few extra impressions for the week, so this first week of January. Now, there are 3 things to focus on for the first week of January as I connected to the energy. Now, the first thing was a focus on creative joy, on that inspiration, on expression, on making something new. So what can you do for the first week of January that celebrates and helps you focus on that creativity and how you express it? And a reminder that our creativity and our intuition come from the same place. So how can you connect to that in deeper ways this week? It also felt like clearing away the corners. Pretty normal, pretty common for the first week of January, but it didn't only feel physical. When I saw kind of the clearing away of the corners, tidying up, it also felt like clearing away and tidying up our mind, connecting to what we need for more clarity and a tidier thought process, a tidier way of thinking. So could we need more time or movement, or maybe it is literally cleaning your space? But this week, what can you do to tidy up and clear away and sweep the corners? Not only of your house, not only of your place, your room, maybe your car, but also your mind and your body. How can you help your energy clear away the corners that haven't had as much attention? What needs to be tidied up within you? And then the third thing for the first week of January to focus on, can you guess what it is? It's something that I share a lot about because it is that important and vital, but it was prominent in the meditation, and it's grounding. Don't forget to focus and pay attention and make space for, and all of the words, all of the ways to describe it. Don't forget to ground. That through our grounding, we'll be able to find and remember and see the inspiration and clarity that we seek. That's what waits for us when we're grounded. It also helps us be more flexible through the changes and the transformation and the initiations. So don't forget to prioritize grounding your energy, whether that's through a meditation, whether that's through committing to working out, taking walks, being in nature, any way that you come back to yourself, come back to your breath, and get grounded. It's a great habit to start at the beginning of this calendar year because it will help you always, but definitely in this month, but this year, for certain. So stay grounded and stay committed to making time to ground your energy. All right. So yes, before we get into the intuitive soul questions, journal prompts, How does that feel? How does the month of January, through those energy impressions, through this week, everything that I've shared, what resonated? What connected with you? What felt like, oh, that's what I needed to remember? I know that we kind of moved around quite a bit, but I really hope that at least some or a few or all helped you connect to that inner compass, that inner guidance, that beautiful, unique intuition that is waiting for you to start really listening to. And it feels like January is a time to reconnect to that. And remember, take what you need, take what resonated, and leave the rest. So some intuitive questions for January, and then we'll do 3 questions for the month, and then I'll offer a 4th kind of longer one for the first week. And you can find these in the transcript of the episode on Apple Podcasts. I feel like it's also on other podcast platforms, but definitely on Apple. You can just scroll under the episode and there'll be a transcript there. And then just scroll through to the end of the episode and you'll be able to read the questions. Okay, so the first question that you could answer in a journal or in a voice note to yourself or just kind of ponder as you're going about your day. But for January 2025, what has ended? What is already over? What are you ready to let go? Is it a mask, a shield, a barrier that keeps the world and maybe your loved ones from really knowing you? Keeps your true self at arm's length? Maybe something else, but really connect to what has ended. What are you ready to let go of? And then another question is, can you describe one thing in your life that is asking for your heart's full attention? What is your heart longing for? Release any criticism or judgment surrounding it, because that longing may be what your heart needs your full attention for. So can you describe one thing in your life, one thing that is asking for your heart's full attention? And it might be something new. It might not be physically real yet. Allow yourself to connect to it. What is it? And describe it. And then a third question you could answer if it resonates. What is complete in your life? What has completed in your life and does not fit in 2025? So what has completed in your life and does not fit in your life in 2025? And remember, this is for you. So write, think about, voice note, anything that comes. Even if you're not sure if that is what it is, that may bring you to what you needed to discover. That's the beauty of journaling. And then the last journal prompt question for the week, so this is for the first week of January. This is more of an intuitive journaling exercise. But for this week, if this resonates, this may really help you. So first, you're going to write down everything you can think of that you want to leave behind in 2024. And then you're going to write down everything that you would love to experience, do, have, everything you desire. anything you want to happen in 2025. Write it all down, anything that comes. And then after you've answered both of those, you put your pen down if you are journaling, close your eyes, and picture yourself in 2025. That you are experiencing everything you wrote down about what you desire to experience in 2025. So picture yourself there already and really allow your imagination to work with your intuition. Be a translator for it. So trust that you can picture yourself and feel how you are feeling in 2025 when you are experiencing everything. So you're picturing yourself in the new year, experiencing all of the things that you wrote down. What do you feel like? What are you wearing? Where are you? Can you hear anything? Can you smell anything? Are there flowers nearby? Are you near the ocean? Every little detail, like let your imagination run. And then when you're done, write down all of the differences between yourself now and that future 2025 version of yourself that you just connected with. And then when you look at all of the differences, when you look at everything you wrote down, when you look at all of the things that you wrote for this big, big journal prompt, when you look at what you're leaving behind, what you are desiring to experience, who you are in the new year, who you are today, when you look at all of that, what do you know to be true? And what changes do you need to make to be that future version of yourself? But today, what are those differences? And how can you start to be that person now? And that's a really long one, but I felt very inspired to create it and say all of those things for this first week. So I'm going to do it. I hope you can do it. Let's just say it in a little bit of a more succinct way. So for this week, the intuitive question for this week is going to be 4 parts. But if you're into it, 4 parts. So the first part, you're going to write down everything you can that you want to leave behind in 2024. Then you're going to write down everything you would love to experience in 2025. Then you're going to actively close your eyes and use your imagination to picture yourself in 2025, experiencing all the things you wrote down. And then you're going to write down all the differences between that 2025 version of yourself and yourself today. And you're going to really connect with any changes that you need to make to be that version of yourself now. And if you feel called to do this, that means there is some very specific insight and guidance that is waiting, that your intuition is waiting for you to discover. So I hope you can make some time to do it. And for everyone else, thank you for listening to that very long question. And if you love to connect to your energy and intuition, love the idea of really fleshing out all of the insight and guidance and wisdom that is waiting for you within, this is a big part of the work that I do. Through my intuitive and energy healing work, this is how I support you. There's so many different ways, but part of it is connecting all the dots, helping you connect, the physical tension and unease that we can experience in our physical body connecting that to the spiritual and emotional roots that are held in those physical symptoms. I help to guide you to remember what the spiritual or emotional link is asking you to witness. And then I guide you through releasing and reclaiming or transmuting that energy. And it's really so that all levels of your being can be operating in the present. That's a big part of it. So that you can feel grounded and calm, like we spoke about, and you can have access to that clarity that is within, clarity around your life path and the decisions to make, not only big ones, but on a daily basis. And it's during our sessions that I help you connect to what is moving beneath your thoughts and your words. I help you know more clearly what energy is yours and what is not yours to carry. And I spoke about that ancestral energy. We can carry ancestral wisdom, but we can also carry energy that we inherited that affect how we act, how we make our decisions, how we feel, not only emotionally, but physically too. And everything that I just described is about remembering the many ways that you can express your purpose in this lifetime. But not only how you can, but how you already are. And that's what I found brings that love and acceptance. That brings that awareness of how we can love and accept ourselves in new and deeper ways, which ultimately helps us know and listen to the wisdom of ourselves, our intuition, but the wisdom of our hearts, so that we can really feel free to do and live the way we want to, the way we desire to, the way our true selves know that we need to. And from what I've seen and experienced, when we do that, it's not only for our highest good, it's for the highest good of all. So maybe this year is the year that you pay extra attention to that. And maybe you reach out for support with it, whether it's with me or another practitioner. If you feel curious, I encourage you to explore it. And I didn't feel like I would start speaking about my work like that, but I followed the inspiration, as I hope you will this month, in little and big ways. And thank you so much for listening to this episode of Intuitive Seek for the energy of January 2025 and the first week of 2025. I would absolutely love to hear if you resonated with any of the energy that I'm feeling and that we may be moving through for the month ahead and the week. Let me know if you do answer any of those questions. I know they were a bit longer, but I have to trust what comes through. So I hope that some or a few or all of what I shared helped you today. And if you have any thoughts or questions, even aside from the energy impressions, please don't hesitate to send me a message. You can message me through my website at treenlight.com or through my Instagram at treenlight.healing. And if you are curious about working with me, check out the show notes. I have all the links that you need there. And if you haven't subscribed to this podcast already or followed it, please do so wherever you get your podcasts. And if you feel called to give some support, then yes, please feel free to share this episode with a friend, or you could even leave a review. That really helps other people find this podcast, and I really appreciate it. So happy New Year, be kind to yourself, and I'll talk to you next week.
Auntie Mary. I just wanted to say something very, very mean. Cat.